Guys, do you like Kingdom Hearts games?
Yep.
Okay, Michael and Christian. Okay. Well, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2, which was a oh my gosh, it's been a while. It was a Nintendo DS game. And then it was so enjoyable and so entertaining that when they brought it to consoles, they cut out all the parts where you play it, and it's just a movie with some of the cutscenes in it.
Kind of.
That's how much respect they have for it. How much respect do you guys have for it?
I like it, actually.
Okay.
It's a PlayStation 1 Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah. N64, let's be fair here. Because the oh gosh. The Z buffer is fine. Or is it? The DS
what?
is a weird console, man.
It is.
It don't look right most of the time.
No. I mean,
No.
it's impressive that they pulled off a 3D Kingdom Hearts game on that little DS thing.
Yeah, with cutscenes, with like rendered
Yeah.
cutscenes, and it's like
That's
whoa.
insane. That's
And it's like
bonkers.
30 hours of that, too. It's not a little game.
No, it's an RPG. It goes. But I find that I tend to talk the most during these, even though I have the least amount to say. So for this one, I kind of want to turn it over to you guys. And Christian, you're pretty good at running us through a game. I was wondering if you could just start us off at the beginning here, if you remember what it's like, because I don't.
Roxas.
Yes.
Roxas, are you really sure that you don't have a heart? I don't know.
He's a boy.
Yeah, he's just, another day in the life, another slice of life anime. He wakes up,
Yep.
he's got to work for the organization, and he doesn't want to, but he's going to do it anyway because they need the hearts.
He's like dazed. He's like, oh, where am I? Who am I? I'm an amnesiac JRPG hero.
Just like us as the players.
Oh my
we don't know
gosh.
what's going on, dude.
Oh my gosh.
How do you like that?
I would like it better if I knew what was going on, but I guess I get you. That's novel.
Technically, if you followed if you're playing this according to release, you're the exact opposite because you know how it all ends.
Whoa.
You know, he's
Do you-
amnesiac, but you're not.
How many sidebar here? How many people do you think this is the only Kingdom Hearts game they've played? They're like, this looks cool.
Oh, weird.
I know of at least 2 people where it's their first game.
Okay, I can see that. That's weird. I don't like to think about that.
If I was like 12, I would have played 358 religiously.
Yeah, I know. I can sense that. I can see that. Did you play it religiously as a 20-something? As a millennial?
No, I was kind of glad that all those 358 days were over, because it's Kingdom Hearts combat, except slightly worse.
Yeah. But Michael, you like it.
I do.
Actually, I've heard. What's your spin on that?
The thing is the game. There's this part of me that thinks this thing was a huge. It like they downsized Kingdom Hearts for a handheld console, and it feels like that.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways. Things feel a little simpler. The button mashing is definitely more button mashy.
Yep.
There's that like slot system for you equipping things and making weapons, and I didn't like a lot of that stuff. I could see being put off, and if your primary draw to Kingdom Hearts is maybe that is maybe the combat alone, I can see that being like, I can see this being the game that kills it for you.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the fact that it's like 358 days, and while you're not playing like 358 days worth of missions, I think there's only like 100 missions.
Yeah.
It definitely, it's like a 9 to 5 in that there's a lot of busy work. There's a lot I think to not like, but
But yes.
I really liked the idea of telling a story, of making a full like 30-hour game from the point of view of the villains.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually. I liked a lot the moments where stupid anime nonsense happened,
Of course.
which there wasn't a whole lot of. I
Yeah.
did enjoy. I thought a lot of the bosses were cool, which is a thing I think you could say to a lot of Kingdom Hearts games. Like you had that weird tree phantom
Yep.
monster with the tentacles. The characters are somehow dimmer versions of their one-note counterparts, but
True enough.
Okay.
at the same time, there's a bit of that camp to them, or a bit of that elevator pitch camp to them that is kind of enjoyable. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a hard time really getting across, I guess, how I feel about this game because it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, so is the whole series, and I don't know. It's hard to succinctly wrap up. Ask me questions. Let's do it this way.
Okay. Okay. So this is from the point of view of the villains, right?
Yeah.
As you
Kind of.
And before I get to a question, I just want to say I think it's really interesting how this is happening in tandem with Chain of Memories in a way that is done, I thought, really interestingly, where that's all happening. But you as Roxas don't know because you're just some grunt in this organization. But there's like backstabbings upon backstabbings upon backstabbings happening over here in this game. And you spend that time in this game just being like, I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody's coming back. And then they don't come back. And it's like, well, okay, this sets some things up.
It's kind of
Yeah.
building off that. It's kind of cryptic about the whole thing too.
Yeah.
Like it lets you know there are things going on that you don't understand, and even as the player, they don't really tell you everything that's happening.
yeah.
Like when they're talking about Castle Oblivion and Naminé and all that stuff, and Axel sent away on a mission to find the secret room, and that's like the most information you really get about what's happening in that other part of the universe for the most part.
I don't understand since I don't have a heart.
Okay, here's a question. How do you feel about the day-to-day then? Because a lot of it is just talking to people and they say some pithy thing and then you do a mission. Right? Like they're just lounging and you're like, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey.
Hey, go do this challenge. I'll
Yeah,
give you this
yeah.
this Stardust.
Go do a menial task.
Did you do enough of these tasks?
And that's like the first third of the game. It's just that, basically. So, did that work for you in like an anime way?
It's one of those things that I think makes the structure interesting from like an academic kind of way.
Yeah.
But as far as playing it goes, there were times where it felt like that 9 to 5, you're the grunt kind of.
Yeah.
It's like why are you going to Aladdin World to collect crests? What does this accomplish to anything? Like they establish your role as the Keyblade wielders to actually kill things.
Right.
Why am I collecting these little emblems?
Right. Which raises a different question entirely, which is, Christian, you don't like anime so much, so is any of this doing anything for you? Are you plugged in here?
Yes, so the gameplay, as far as the 9 to 5 is concerned, didn't do much for me because it feels like a chore. It
Yeah.
feels like work. And I understand that that's why some people love this game, is because it feels like work, and that's like the whole story. Like you're just Roxas working his day to day. He's
Yeah.
got to get these hearts. He's got to make his quota. And that's how I felt. But that's not fun. I don't appreciate that as an argument for a video game. I understand the syncrasy there,
Yeah.
but it's not a fun video game because of that. But what I really liked was the story behind that, and I liked the day-to-day. I liked sitting there, just sitting there with Roxas and Axel, and you sit there with them time and time again, and you get to know them, and then it feels normal, it feels commonplace, it almost feels like you're part of this relationship that they're having, even though their conversations are just kind of, weird. Like Roxas doesn't know what anything is.
What are
so
friends?
What is heart?
he's asking these very weird baby questions.
What is love?
But I liked getting all that time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
weird.
they're like the organization's like gas station workers and they're smoking out behind the thing. I like it. Yeah. But like the smacking things with the key ain't so good in this game, you guys. We should probably talk about how that's not a very good thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can just shoot a fireball and it just destroys anything. You could just walk through there. It's fine.
It's weird how magic is like a consumable too, which makes you like more hesitant to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you just start putting multipliers on things, and all of a sudden you have like 37 of them somehow, and you're like, okay.
Yes.
I like to get at the point where you would build like the super strong weapons and just keep mashing A so you go into a combo.
Yeah.
And that one hits everything.
Right.
Because you get the combo, and then you can hit the Y mid combo, and then just you get that big swing, and it kills almost everything with one or two hits.
It's like a Kingdom Hearts game you're describing. It's like a
yeah. I guess it's I guess we're at the point where it's like, okay, it felt good at the point at the end of the game. It felt as though I was playing it with almost the same strategy as I was at the beginning, but it felt powerful. It felt kind of good to just kind of knock back your average mobs with almost no problem.
But there's this thing that Christian and I have talked about and experienced with these Kingdom Hearts games where you just destroy things and everything explodes, and I never got that out of this game. I never felt that high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe it's a technical limitation thing? You can't make everything explode and that kind of like a flurry of light and Disney bullshit because it's a DS game and everything is compressed to a DS game and...
Yeah. No, I think that's totally what it is, but it's still not giving me what I want. You know?
Decker needs his fixins.
I mean, like, okay. No, that's not true. Break this down further, and I mean, this is not to the level of Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, or 3. I mean, this is like a baby version. Like, it's not... Even if it looked like 1, I don't think it would be as satisfying, because it's just not... The combat is not as fluid, the controls are not as good, it just doesn't feel as good to move around.
Yeah,
well,
you're playing on a D-pad, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the clunkiness of it.
Yeah.
I think that does come with the downsizing.
I think that the worst part about the gameplay is the fact that the combat that we just talked about, that we're lukewarm on, is like the best part about the gameplay. Because the rest of it is like this weird investigation stuff and running around, and the running around ain't very good, and collecting stuff. That stuff ain't very good. The whole like stealth Kona vision stuff, not feeling it. Didn't like any of that.
And I agree. And it's the movement is all clunky, and then they intentionally throw in things that'll make you go back to missions if you want the full 100%. That where it is platform based. Like if you're going through and doing missions where you have to pick up the sigils or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there are one or two keeping you from that full 100 sync.
Yeah.
That are at these points where you have to have like a triple high jump and stuff to get to. You have to go back to it, and it's like these missions are the worst missions. Why do I want to go back to them?
Right.
And
yeah.
I don't. And the actual platforming and stuff like that is grody. All the side missions are kind of grody.
In this game, like, at the end, you're doing the thing where it's like kill the purple blobs, and it's the exact same thing you were doing in Mission 3 or whatever.
Yeah, except you can reach all the purple blobs now.
Well, but they're just there. They're just on a wall. It's not like you don't feel good. It's not like you feel better at the end.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think what we're saying is this game is not very good. But... I think we also recognize that there's something about this game, more so for Michael, but there's just something about it that is interesting beyond it just being like a video game you would play.
Yes.
Like a conceptual thing.
Kinda. I do. I both dislike and like the whole workplace structure to it a lot.
Yeah.
Both sides of that spectrum.
Yeah.
There are parts of it that I think it's like, this is kind of a really cool idea on paper. This is a really cool conceptual thing.
And it's not just a plot broken up into 300 something sections. I think they do interesting things with the structure and with the idea that this is like this workplace drama that's happening, where there's the whole thing where like Shion gets a Keyblade all of a sudden, and then you're like, you can't use the Keyblade, and it's like, oh my god. It's like this, because they know they have to put some kind of twist on it because you've been doing the same thing over and over. So whenever they do put a little twist on it, I think it's really effective because it's so regimented what you've been doing. Like they establish this is how this game works, and then there are times where they kind of twist it a little bit. I think it works really well.
I agree.
I can agree with that, yeah. And as far as that translates into plot moments, I think that leaves the moments where something does kind of happen and disrupt that 9 to 5 narratively. It also helps make that a little more interesting, I guess.
It feels good when, as Roxas, he's been spending the last 2 weeks waiting for people to show up on the clock tower, and then they finally do, and it's like, oh, this is a nice moment. I've been waiting for this. Because they force you to, but I think it's effective. I think they build to little moments like that within that day structure in a cool way.
Got it! Huh? Got what?
On our next day off, let's all go to the beach, huh?
Yeah.
If this was a cool game, this would be awesome, you know, if this was like a fun game to play. But,
I mean, I will say that I didn't not have fun playing it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I liked it when it's sequestered into these little challenges. Even if some of those challenges are kind of at their core really dull and dry, sometimes it's kind of it's just a fun little piecemeal thing rather than this, okay, I'm in this large world where I'm going after, where it's this 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minute endeavor to try to get to the end of this mission.
Yeah. And
instead now it's just like, okay, you're in here, you kill your requisite amount of Heartless in this small little boxy world.
Yeah.
And then it's done, you get the XP bar goes up, you get the little rewards from it, and you can stop there if you really want to, and it doesn't feel like you have to keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a criticism in and of itself, too, because it doesn't necessarily lend itself to making you want to marathon the game, but at the same time, it's still kind of... It's nice to be able to just take this as, like, little bite-sized pieces rather than going into it with this, okay, I'm going to knock another hour chunk out of this 40-hour JRPG.
And its portable nature kind of helps with that, because I mean, it was clearly designed with the portable nature of it in mind, because you got the missions and you got the days, so you have very clearly defined stopping points where you can ride the bus, finish the mission, and be done for this time. But I also feel like the inconsistent mission links mitigate the inherent advantages of that segmented system.
I agree. Very
That's
much.
Right. That is, yes, actually, yeah, I get that.
Because you don't know.
Yeah, there'll be times where it's like a 5-minute get the sigils or whatever, or 5-minute kill like 10 Heartless, and then it's good. But then there'll be times where they try to wrap in plot and stuff, and you could be in the map for 30, 40 minutes.
But I gotta ask, you guys, because I feel like I'm the odd man out here, how do you feel about the use of Disney stuff in this Kingdom Hearts game? I like the Disney stuff, screw you guys. Because Disney movies are also dumb and simple. And to have Roxas learn about life through these Disney movies I thought was very appropriate, and I think it was done well. So there.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
I thought the especially with the Beauty and the Beast stuff, even if it was pretty one note, you know, Beast is stressing out about being the Beast and protecting Belle.
Right.
But at the same time, it made sense for their characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I
mean, it felt like Belle was kind of... I don't know if she'd be the type of main character to sequester herself into a building, but... into a room. But at the same time, it provided that vehicle for Roxas to learn about, like, life the same way maybe kids watching Disney movies might.
Aww.
And at the same time, it wasn't this static retelling of the Disney movies themselves.
Right.
Which was also kind of a nicer change of pace. It's not like you're watching Peter Pan when you're in Neverland. You're just following around the pirate and Shmi and their...
Shmi. Oh my god. I love Shmi. It's really cool to see the day-to-day, not just of your evil henchmen in robes, but also just these Disney characters. And like, Aladdin is, I guess, part of the royal family now because he married Jasmine or whatever, so he's got to like deal with things in Agrabah. It's like, okay, that's kind of what I would expect out of like a Disney mashup with something like this. The dialogue is boring to scroll through, like it's not very interesting dialogue, but it's something.
Well, I was just going to say that I think it's novel in that this is debatably the only Kingdom Hearts game where most of the Disney worlds leave a lasting impact on the character that's experiencing all of it.
Yes.
Because that the plot stuff that happens in the Disney stuff leaves an impact and plants questions into Roxas's brain that he then carries out into other locations. Instead of the Disney worlds just being, just completely segregated off into separate sections. Right. And then you just go to the next one. Here they kind of bleed together into Roxas's brain, and he learns more about the world at large.
Yeah.
After visiting them.
Were they trying to do something like that though with the other ones, where there's like this closing conversation about the importance of friendship or something, and Sora's like, huh, okay. Where Tarzan's like, ooh means heart.
Oh, Clayton.
Yeah. And just maybe this is the time that they get it kind of right, or is that, or am I misremembering? Or am I being too nice to Kingdom Hearts 1 there?
Maybe. But like, for me, okay, coming off of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't think this is very spoilery, but like, you go to Tangle World and it's just the plot of Tangled is happening, and like, that's it. And then Sora at the end is like, okay, cool. And then he leaves. Like, I think this game, the characterization is so much better than I feel like most of the games except Chain of Memories, because for some reason these side games have all the interesting stuff going on in them. And I don't understand it.
Yeah. I like how in 358 you're actually given time with these organization members. You can sit with them, you go on day-to-day missions with them, you're just chilling and hanging out with them.
Right.
And that makes, like, retroactively makes the events of Kingdom Hearts 2, when you're murdering all these people, have way more weight, which is kind of rad.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also kind of a flaw in Kingdom Hearts 2's part. Yeah. But I think that's really cool how they like made these people feel like actual people instead of just the boss of the level.
I do mostly agree, and that's part of what I think it was cool coming out with a game entirely from the perspective of the villains here. And I also think it kind of underscored how much happened in Chain of Memories too, when you're Roxas with the organization for like the first week you're there, and here's this full big cast of characters, and then suddenly half of them are gone. But at the same time, I also think it kind of helps highlight how some of them aren't great characters.
Okay, here's a question then. Was there a character that you grew to like through this game that you wouldn't have otherwise liked out of the organization?
Demyx, kind of.
Okay. Which one? Oh, yeah. The
lazy sitar guy, and he's like, I just don't want to do this. I just want to go on recon and play my sitar.
Yeah, I'm not fighting. You fight.
Because the only time you really see him outside of this game is when is that time in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you kill him right as you see him. Essentially, he appears for that one mission, and then that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird because he is that character in both games, but in 2 it's just like, you don't know me, bye. It's crazy how much of 2 makes more sense if you play this game that came out around the same time. Oh wait, no, it didn't.
It didn't?
This came out 4 years after 2, is that right?
Isn't that seems wild. Do you want to talk about the climax at all? Or talk about how they have one mission where they give you 2 keys?
Whoa.
And it feels kind of cool because it does feel like you're finally overpowered and mowing people down, and it's only in this one mission, and immediately afterwards you fight Riku, who's wearing a blindfold but then turns into a full-grown adult man.
Yeah.
And beats the crap out of you as a full-grown adult man because magic.
Yes. Magic the Gathering.
But it's in like that. It's like it's in the city, and you're running up walls, and it's that zany cinematic Kingdom Hearts experience. It's kind of cool, but I felt kind of cheated that was only in one. I felt kind of cheated that the dual wielding was only in one mission.
You gotta have that little memory, or else it would get boring. You would need 3 Keyblades to feel the same thing.
Yeah. And the whole Shion boss fight, that's rad. That's like completely original boss fight stuff there.
Yeah.
She's like this giant armored thing, and that's sweet. I appreciate 358 because it's crazy that they crammed this onto a DS cartridge. They fit more Twilight Town onto a DS than they did on Kingdom Hearts 3 on a PS4.
That is stuck
So,
in your
good
craw,
job.
sir. I feel like you're never gonna
And-
let that go.
They also, there's the Sora's memory thing where Riku is, I'm sorry, not Riku, Roxas is kind of has this deja vu when he's going through certain moments, and that's reflected on the bottom screen with these like fuzzy moments from Sora's story.
That was cool.
I think that's rad.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I like that a lot,
amazing
yeah.
use of the dual screens and an awesome way to play into the story.
God, if this game was fun, you guys, this would be a really cool game.
I mean, maybe I'm alone here, but I thought it was fun. I had, at least at times, I thought it was fun. Some of the boss battles I thought were fun. The one, even if the gameplay was a little clunkier, the going into a map and beating the shit out of like a higher level Heartless boss
Yeah.
was kind of fun. And I mean, some of the designs for the unique Heartless were kind of cool. The giant parrot monster,
Yeah.
treasure chest parrot or whatever.
That was cool.
The big boss in Halloween Town. Those are the ones at least that come immediately to mind. To me, those were fun, and that was enough to hang on through some of the story stuff that I liked. And honestly, I didn't like some of the story stuff either. I thought Shion was at times really, really boring. I thought dialogue between any character was kind of painful sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I did like some of it a lot. I came away from this game with Axel being my favorite character in the series.
Okay. He's very likable. Was Axel?
He is. I think he comes across well in this.
Yeah.
Got it memorized.
I agree.
I like Roxas a lot more having played this game.
Hey, yeah.
Like more than Sora.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's because there's actual like character development to Roxas.
Yeah.
And that is something in this one that it feels like there's actual, the character is changing with the story, whereas with the whole of the other, at least with 1 and 2, I felt as though Sora didn't really change at all through it, and the entire plot revolved around Sora being a likable kid, and that's kind of what helped him like win in the end, I guess. But at the same time, it as far as narrative goes, he kind of ends where he began, while Roxas actually goes someplace. And at the whole of 358 days over 2, there's also like this air of tragedy going on underneath it, because you kind of know what happens to all these characters, and you know that at least at the end of this game that they can't have a happy ending.
Right.
And to see that kind of start to take shape, it leads to a bit of it leads to a drama there that I think is absent with some of the other games. If that makes sense. I don't know. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the capstone on this whole experience was finally getting to that like penultimate cutscene where after you murder Shion, she's fading away, and Roxas goes up to her, and as Michael alluded to earlier, he says, "Who else will I have ice cream with?" as she's dying. And it just felt like a wet fart on the whole game's narrative that it was setting up to that point. And there are people who like claim it's narratively genius because Roxas is naive and he doesn't understand life. But this is the end of the game. He knows what love is now. He knows what friendship is. Have him mention those even in a superficial way, and it'll make way more sense. It'll be way more narratively satisfying than who else will I have ice cream with. I feel like that's a very bad mark on this game's otherwise very interesting and somewhat compelling narrative.
It's the thing it's remembered for.
Yeah.
I can see both sides of the arguments here, because as far as writing goes, it's god awful, and it is a wet fart, and it's such a way to deflate anything that's going on. But at the same time, I get the naivety argument. He is only at this point like not even a year old, and all of his experiences with people, all of his experiences with like friendship and stuff, has been eating ice cream and talking about the definition of friendship. So I get the argument, but yeah, no, it's the line that this game will be remembered by.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The stick has winner on it, you see. So.
Yep.
So
What do you think about that line where Riku's like, maybe I'm the biggest nobody?
Okay, we need to stop before I grow to hate this game. So Sonic Blast is probably a better game.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. This was by far my least favorite Kingdom Hearts game I've played. As far as playing it, as far as pressing the buttons.
Yeah. I liked how the story was less like just treading water in the Disney stuff as Chain of Memories was.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm having a hard time figuring out. I want to say I enjoyed it less than Chain of Memories.
Yeah. Chain of Memories had interesting story stuff also happening.
Yes.
Kind of
it did.
confusing.
I came away from this one liking it more than Chain of Memories. That might be... If I come away with an opinion on this, it's that I like this one more than Chain of Memories.
Okay. You'll remember how negative I was during the Chain of Memories socket.
Yes.
So for me to not like this as much as that game, I think says a lot about how I feel about this game.
Yeah.
But Chain of Memories was a bunch of box rooms made to look like places from Kingdom Hearts 1 as you played the Kingdom Hearts 1 plot again.
I would, if you gunpoint, I had to play through one of these games again, I would go Chain of Memories for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the combat, while not awesome, at least got to a point where interesting things were happening, and I never felt that way about 358. If I have to go through Agrabah one more time in that stupid temple and push the block around the room so I can jump, I would take that popsicle stick and I would shove it through my eye socket, Michael.
You'd be the real winner.
Is this before or after you have to follow
Pete?
Pete,
don't you do that multiple times? I feel like
do you do that more than once?
It sure felt like it. Where are we gonna put this bad boy, you guys?
It's tough.
How about we just go around and just say where you personally would put it, and then we can try to work out from there. Christian, what's your spot?
My spot would be below Rhyme and above Sonic 3D Blast, I think.
Okay.
That's where I think this guy is, somewhere in those waters, somewhere in that mid to low tier.
Okay. Michael,
Hi.
where would
I'm
you
in the range of Rhyme being the low ball and maybe below either below Sonic the Hedgehog. So I guess in that same those same waters, but maybe
A little higher.
liking this. I like this one more than Rechain, and I like this more than, and I do like this more than Resident Evil.
Okay. It doesn't
but placing it below Rechain makes sense to me.
Okay.
And that's where I feel that that little like 4 game hole puddle. That 4 game puddle.
For me, it would go in the realm of games I didn't have fun playing, but still like respect. So it'd be like around Beyond, like area, you know. But
Yeah.
I can see
You really
it.
respect Beyond.
I think Beyond is an interesting thing. Okay, and it's not perfect.
Yeah.
No game's perfect. It's better because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got Willem Dafoe. Spider-Man.
Would like I feel like Rhyme is a really weird hill to die on, but I feel like this should go below Rhyme. But I could see it below or like between Resident Evil and Rhyme. I feel like that's kind of an interesting. You said you like this more than Resident Evil, Michael?
I would have to do some deep soul searching to really
Okay.
rank it against Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But
I feel like yeah.
I would say that I would in that either side of Rhyme kind of camp
Okay.
is comfortable to me.
Okay. I would just feel really weird about this being right next to Rechain, just because I feel like they're so different in my mind what
Yeah.
these games represent. But if we put it between Resident Evil and Rhyme, does that please?
Yes, it pleases me just fine.
Okay, Michael.
It's about as pleasurable as a sea salt ice cream to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
a salty but sweet placement.